Hallo mein Freund. That's my effort at German. I hope you're impressed. The reason I started in German is because today we've got a Sinn 356, and Sinn are a German watch manufacturing company. I would have pronounced it Sinn, but I'm reliably informed in German it's Sinn. Now this is not brand new, this watch. This is a little bit old. I'm not entirely sure how old, but it is the spezialedition from Japan, a special version that they made for the Japanese market, and this is hand winding. So here it's not auto, it's a hand winding watch with a screw down crown, which is a little bit unusual. Anyway, you can tell it's the special edition because it says Swiss made, T either side, so that's got tritium lume as opposed to the auto version, the standard version, which has superluminova, which I shall show you now because I have both. Now you can see there's very, very subtle differences. So at the bottom of the one on the left, it says T, Swiss made T. So it was made in Switzerland, and it has tritium lume. And the lume you can see is ever so slightly different colour, sort of aged. The one on the right is the auto, and that doesn't have tritium lume and doesn't have the T, Swiss made T at the bottom. Apart from that, they're very, very similar. The crowns are ever so slightly different. On the auto one, between the lugs here, oh hang on, let me find it. It's got a cool thing, it says sug. I don't know what that means actually. The hand wind doesn't have that. Let's try and focus a bit. Let me tell you a little bit more about the basic spec of this watch. So it's this is the hand winding one, as I said, and it features the Valjoux 7760 hand winding movement. The auto features the Valjoux 7750 automatic movement. You can hear the rotor. Well, I can. 25 joules, 28,800 semi-oscillations per hour. Chrono features, so we've got a start, stop. They're really, really heavy buttons. They're not light little buttons, and it flies back to the start. It's got anti-magnetic DIN 8309. Now, personally, I've no idea what that means, and I don't know if it's important, but anyway, it's one of the features. The case is made of stainless steel. This has an acrylic domed crystal. Let's have a look. Can you see, as I tilt it, you can really see that, oh, it goes out of focus, which is annoying, but you can see the distortions. Absolutely glorious. I love that. I would choose acrylic over a sapphire any day because you can buff out any scuffs that you get, and it's just got a lovely vintage feel to it. I really enjoy acrylic. We've got a screw down crown. Screw down crown, screw down case back. What else have we got? I'm just having a look on their website whilst we're having a look. It's water resistant to 10 bar, so 100 meter water resistance. We've got date and day in German, single language, unlike other watches which tend to have dual languages. This one is just German, and that's it. I think that's everything I can tell you about the spec. Let's have a little look in detail. I'll try and focus for you. I do apologise, the camera needs a little bit of coaxing sometimes. So I'll press the chronograph, off it goes. So the big central second hand is sweeping round, and that tells me the seconds. Then at the top there we've got elapsed minutes, and then at the bottom elapsed hours. Over on the left here, this dial, that's the watch second hand. So I'm just going to let it go past 30 seconds and we'll see which way the second hand resets itself, whether it flies back or goes round. Okay, it's gone back. It's gone past 30. Let's stop it and reset. Goes back. There we go. Cool. Beautiful syringe hands. Nice. Numbers all the way around. Just 1 to 12. Obviously 3 is missing, 6 is missing, 9 is missing, 12 is missing for the dials and the subdials and the date and so on. This case is, I suppose you'd call it bead blasted. So it's sort of matte, which is really nice. Drilled lugs for ease of swapping over straps. Nice signed crystal crown here. Can you see the S there? The case back is really quite plain. On this one it says Flieger, oh, can you see special edition Sinn? There we go, nice and simple. Solid end links on the bracelet. The bracelet is absolutely fantastic. I think they call it an H bracelet because of the shape of the links, and sort of brushed, bead blasted. I'm not really sure what you would call that. It's got an extension here, wetsuit extension, so you could dive with it, although I probably wouldn't. Nice fold over clasp, Sinn on the buckle there, and it's one of the most comfortable bracelets I've worn, and I've worn a lot of bracelets. I like bracelets. It's really, really comfy and light and reliable. Doesn't dig in anywhere. Let's have a look at some measurements. This is a small watch. It's 38.5 millimeters across. There's no dive bezel, so that helps make it a bit smaller. Personally, I like that size. I've got a 7.5 inch wrist, relatively large. To me, this is a nice size because it's got a sort of vintage vibe to it. Lug to lug is 45 millimeters. Now it's the thickness that puts some people off. Now this hand winding version is just under 14 millimeters thick. The auto is a little bit thicker at 15 millimeters thick. Now a big chunk of that is the domed crystal, so it wears less tall on the wrist than you might think because a big chunk of it is the crystal. But the auto is a little thicker because the case back is a little bit more domed. Is it can you tell? A little bit more domed than the auto, than the hand wind, I should say. Obviously, both are absolutely glorious watches. The auto and the hand wind are just fantastic. This auto has a slightly different case finish, a little bit more polished than the hand winding one, and as I said earlier, the crown is ever so slightly different. Other differences: the back, the case back, has different writing on it. This one says Edestal Stos Sicher Anti-magnetisch Wasserdicht Tenbar Sinn. If your German's any good, you might know what that means. I think it might mean anti-magnetic, waterproof, stainless steel perhaps. Anyway, that is my review of the Sinn 356 hand wind and auto. One of my favourite watches of all time. I would highly recommend you seek them out if you're into chronographs with a vintage vibe. The things that I love the most about it are the syringe hands. The shape of the dial, the layout of the dial is just right for me. I like having a date and a day. I find that useful. A chronograph feature is nice to have. And I like tritium. I like the look of it. I like the way it glows in the night. And I like that it's old-fashioned. And I like the fact that it's radioactive. Apparently it's very feebly radioactive, so it doesn't cause any problems unless I were to open up the watch and start flaking bits off, which obviously I'm not going to do. There you go. What else can I tell you? The lume is good at night. It's not blinding, but it's you can read it all night long, which is nice. And it's it wears comfortably. Oh, let's put it on. Just forgot to show it on you for you. There, lovely. There, my 7.5-inch wrist, 38.5mm pilot's watch. Perfect. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. There's lots more videos for you to have a look at and enjoy. It's not just watches, it's knives and EDC gadgets. I love all that sort of stuff. Please subscribe and I'll see you soon.